AstraZeneca has announced the results from its long-awaited U.S.-based clinical trial. The company saying that its COVID-19 vaccine is safe and provides strong protection against symptomatic infection. Joining us right now is our chief health editor, Dr. Partha Nandi. And Dr. Nandi, can you tell us how effective is this new vaccine? Everybody wants to know.
Absolutely, Carolyn. I'm actually always love sharing great news, and especially when it comes to vaccines that fights this nasty virus. And the good news today is that AstraZeneca's vaccine was found to be 79% effective against symptomatic infection. That means you get an infection, you know it, right? And 100% effective against severe disease and hospitalization. Super important there. And for folks over 65, the efficacy rate was actually higher. It was 80%. Really important news there because older folks had not been well represented in earlier trials.
Absolutely, Dr. Nandi. So there's been a lot of controversy about the risk of blood clots, and many people are still really concerned about that. So what did the trial uncover about this?
And really, I get questions like this all day long from my patients, knowing if is the vaccine or are the vaccines really safe? So AstraZeneca's phase 3 trial had over 32,000 people from 3 countries, the US, Chile, and Peru, and 2/3 of them got the vaccine, right? Which is 2 shots in the arm, 4 weeks apart, and the rest were given a placebo. And 20% of those folks were 65 and older. Why is that important? Because they're in the high risk group, and roughly 60% of that group had underlying health conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. And the data showed this, that the vaccine was well tolerated, not just by older folks, but for all groups. As for blood clots, that's a big question, right? Specifically thrombosis, which is a blood clot formed in a deep vein or events characterized by thrombosis. The data did not show an increased risk for those, so did not. And there were no cases of cerebral venous sinus thrombosis, again, which are blood clots in the brain. So good news there. And no cases of serious neurological problems. So
wow.
All good news.
Yeah, certainly good news there. Well, the U.S. already has 3 vaccines that are highly effective against severe disease and even death, Dr. Nandi. So do you think there's really room for a 4th vaccine, or what's your opinion?
And that's the thing, Carolyn, people say, how many do you need? I think the more the merrier. It's been reported, right, that the government has already pre-ordered 300 million doses. AstraZeneca says it's planning to apply for emergency use authorization in the first half of April. So really, if the FDA does grant approval, that might not happen until May. And by then, we're supposed to have enough vaccines from Pfizer, from Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson for every American adult. Having said that, I think a 4th strong and safe vaccine, great thing, right? You want more choices. In the meantime, it's important for us to do what? To get vaccinated when you can. You can't wait for something to get approved. The best vaccine is the one in your arm. That's how we get ahead of this. That's how we get back to normal, which is what everybody else wants. So that's what I would say. But great news, again, in the fight against this nasty virus.
Absolutely. And hopefully everybody is listening to you, Dr. Nandi, and will certainly get vaccinated. Thank you, as always, for your expertise and your time. We certainly appreciate you, Dr. Nandi.
Thank you.
Alan.